Greetings from
Svartbjörn Productions.
Today we will have a look at my film collection. As the collection rolls by in the background, I will pick out some releases and talk about them. Okay then, let the film roll. 28 days later on Blu-ray. The fact that the movie is shot with a digital camera and that it's meant to look realistically bad makes it a weird choice on Blu-ray. I got it for a good price, but I would have settled for a DVD if it hadn't been the case. A Boy and His Dog on a German Blu-ray release. This is a brilliant post-apocalyptic tale with a lot less action than, say, Mad Max. This one takes its time and builds up the intrigues. You really get a good glimpse into this world, the solitude, the survival aspects, and the contrast and absurdity of the underground world. The Abyss, 2-disc special edition DVD. I recommend no one to get this release as it is presented in a non-anamorphic image. I'm not going to go into that here, but trust me, it's aggravating to watch it on a 16:19 screen. I couldn't even play it on my 4K Blu-ray player and was forced to have an old spare DVD player just for this release. Now, however, a new 4K and Blu-ray release is here, and so the old film copy and DVD player is finally retired. Galenskaparna och Aftershave. A box of their first 5 movies on DVD. Galenskaparna did a bunch of amazingly witty movies back in the 80s to 90s. Some of them political and others more just amusing.
A box of cultural treasure.
Another Earth on Blu-ray by the talented filmmaker Brit Marling, here shown on the cover. Such a strong drama with a sci-fi twist to it.
And also, be sure to watch the 2 seasons of The OA on Netflix.
Arrival on Blu-ray might very well be the best sci-fi movie that year, 2016, and probably even since. It does the difficult thing of adding something new to the genre. John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13. An import from Britain. The movie is a nerve-wracking and rather simplistic, very cool action movie. Avatar, Extended Collector's 6-disc edition on Blu-ray.
Cool box, yeah.
I got it as a gift, otherwise I'd probably have a much simpler edition in my collection. But there's always a lot of interesting extras on the James Cameron movies, so it's worth having. The Babadook on Blu-ray. It's an Australian movie, but I had to import it from Britain. A hard watch for sure, but you will feel stuff. Fear is most likely one of those things. Plays somewhat like a drama, and the craftsmanship is impressive.
Not a B-horror at all.
Battery is not included on Blu-ray. Steven Spielberg was involved in this one, and it shows. A heartwarming sci-fi tale for the whole family. Probably overlooked this one. Besökarna, or The Visitors, on DVD. Love this film. So much fun, and also it's pretty scary at times.
Fun fact. The Banana Mailman is also one of the screenwriters.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 25th Anniversary Edition on Blu-ray. I must say I prefer the sequel, Their Bonus Journey. But that one, unfortunately, is impossible to get a hold on for a European Blu-ray release. And DVD would feel like a defeat for me. Black Snake Moan on Blu-ray. Sadly, hard to get hold of a copy in Europe. But if you manage, you won't regret it. This movie embodies blues music and is written after verifications of blues lyrics.
Brain Damage on Arrow Video Blu-ray. Hilarious movie with cool visuals. Aylmer, he's my hero, even if he's a villain. He's just got so much style and charisma.
Brazil on Blu-ray. My favorite movie by my favorite director Terry Gilliam. What a trip.
This one might actually prompt me to upgrade to a 4K release. Bubba Hotep. What if Elvis actually didn't die and he ended up in a retirement home where an ancient mummy curse has been awakened? By the creator of the Phantasm movies.
Bullet on DVD. One of the first movies that directly got me into collecting. I recorded it on VHS back in those good old tube television days.
Took several years to finally come across it in physical media.
Chain of Fools. Here in an irritating cardboard case that just don't fit in with the rest of the collection. Cool indie film from the Swedish film team Traktor. It's got memorable roles by Steven Zahn, Salma Hayek, Jeff Goldblum and Elijah Wood as a confused hitman.
Elijah as the hitman alone is worth the watch.
Cocoon on Blu-ray. One of those titles that has gone out of print. Hard to say if it will return in some form or not.
What a shame.
Cold Souls on DVD. A very interesting sci-fi about the importance of our souls.
A strong recommend from me. Constantine on Blu-ray. One of the films in my collection I watch the most. It's adapted from a comic book. I loved the story, where it takes place and all the lore. Awesome role by Peter Stormare as Satan. Give it a chance, if you dare. Corpse Bride on Blu-ray. I feel this one is criminally overshadowed by A Nightmare Before Christmas. This one is focused on ghosts and the afterlife rather than on a bunch of different seasons. Cure, a Eureka Blu-ray release. If you enjoyed Pulse, the J-horror movie, also by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, then you might go for this one as well. It's more of a criminal detective story, but it has got its share of occult and mystique. Rare movie to come across in Sweden, but I managed. Dark City on Blu-ray. There's really no film quite like it. Some claim it was The Matrix before The Matrix, but I don't know. A tech noir with stunning visuals. Be sure to pick the director's cut if you don't want the mysteries to be spoiled by a narrative voice right at the beginning.
Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid on Blu-ray. If you fancy the concept of a created story around pre-shot old movie bits and think Steve Martin is a comical genius,
this might be right up your alley.
a Blu-ray copy of City of the Lost Children by the announced French director Jean-Pierre Jeunet. A colorful harbor world with French-styled characters and antics. A quiet, absurd tale, but the film somehow makes up for it in the visual department. The Last Supper on DVD. What if Jesus and the Last Supper took place in our time? To say if it was 95 again. If the judges was a bunch of spoiled college brats with dark thoughts of right and wrong in their heads.
Makes for a great black comedy, right?
A Blu-ray copy of Luc Besson's Le Grand Bleu. Such an epic 80s dream of a movie. I suppose you either hate or love it.
If you watch this for the awesome diving aspects, you're missing the point.
Drömkåken, or The Dream House, on a newly released Blu-ray edition. A film about making the best of what you got. Typical Swedish feel for the time when Björn Skifs, here on the cover, ruled the comedic scene. Dunderklumpen on DVD. A movie that truly captures the essence of the Swedish North. With a blend of animation and live action, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you'll be right there, and with trolls as your companions. El Mariachi Special Edition on DVD. You dug Desperado with Banderas, but you want to go less Hollywood. don't look any further.
This is the original. Desperado is just a remake. Joulutarina, Christmas Story. The quintessential Christmas mythology movie. It's from Finland. Almost feels like if it had happened there and then, just like that. Maybe Santa Claus was from Finland after all.
Equilibrium, or Cubic as it's also called, on Blu-ray. I've only stumbled upon this release once, so it's got me thinking that it's a rare copy. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, one of my personal favorites. What a way to describe trying to get over someone you loved and lost. Phenomenal.
And by the way, the dance in the Andes, that was improvised.
Existence on DVD. How I wish there was some decent high-definition version of this title somewhere.
Sadly enough, I believe the original film was lost. The Eye and the Eye 2. These overlooked Asian horror series of films, they are so scary, and for all the right reasons. Asian filmmakers simply know how to frighten us. But I would have preferred this not being a series, because the sequel has its own story, and isn't connected to the first one really at all. It's got nothing to do with eyes or seeing. The Family Man with Saint Nicholas Cage. I never hear a word about this awesome Christmas-themed movie. Its message is spot on for the season. Is it because of the caginess? Well, it doesn't compromise anything for me at least. When this video is released, I will have this on Blu-ray.
Forever Young.
A 4K scan, come on! Fragiles. A Spanish-British horror movie I rarely hear mentioned. It builds up good, but I don't care as much for the second half. It's a bit over the top for my taste. But overall, it's a good ghost movie.
Garden State on DVD, a film by Zach Braff, Scrubs' main character. An indie production well suited for the story, and a gloomier character than in Scrubs. That's also welcome. This movie brings up the topic of what society expects of you. Gran Torino on Blu-ray. It has opened my eyes to how good of a director Clint Eastwood is. And how he hasn't managed to grow hardly anything as an actor. Grosse Pointe Blank on Blu-ray. What if you chose a career in professional killing? And what would you then tell your former classmates at a reunion if they asked what you do for a living? That's exactly what happens to John Cusack's character in this fast-talking black comedy.
Harry Potter. A Blu-ray box with all the movies. This must be the best bargain I ever did. I have seen all the movies a bunch of times, and the box only cost me $8. It was used, but in great condition. The seller told me he had gone full circle and that he now only collected VHS, an Arrow Video Steelbook Blu-ray box. Hellraiser, the first 3 movies. Every Hellraiser movie you'll ever need in a neat box, but hidden on an Italian Blu-ray release. Cult classic with great humor. And it also exceeds as a buddy movie.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids on DVD. There's supposedly a region-free Blu-ray of this title out there, but I've never seen it in my zone. This movie demands better quality than DVD. All adventure movies does. Hudson Hawk on Blu-ray. Not the most popular movie out there, I know. But I get sucked into its charming world of inventions, over-the-top action, silliness and so on. The picture is clear and crisp.
So hooray, HD.
100-åringen som klev ut genom fönstret och försvann. Or The 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared on Blu-ray. The Swedish Forrest Gump. Adapted from the book with the same title.
It holds its own, I think.
I'm a cyborg, but that's okay. One of those titles I'm just glad to own. No plans on opening or let alone be watching this. Just the thought that I could is sufficient enough for me. By the way,
I've seen the movie, just not this copy.
Interstate 60 on DVD. Leprechauns. Secret highway routes. 8 balls to guide you on your journey. This is one weird movie. The plot somehow holds up, but the sheer amount of craziness.
In the Mouth of Madness, one of my several German movie releases. The quality seems fine, but there's no whistle or bells with this release. I'd rather have the British Collector's Edition, but I'm fine with what I've got. At least this has the cooler cover art. Ju-On The Grudge Collection Blu-ray. The first 2 Ju-On movies, there are 6 in total, and the TV miniseries that's streamed on Netflix. That means that I'm missing out on 4 movies here. I must be cursed. Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown on Blu-ray. Took its share of time to track down a reasonably priced copy. My recommendation: don't pay big money for titles that are bound to be re-released. Johnny Mnemonic, the actual Matrix before the Matrix. It even stars the same lead actor, Hytten och Järnkämpen. Or The Iron Giant. On DVD, special edition. I'm planning on getting a Blu-ray release for this one. But in the meantime, it's kinda cool to have this Norwegian DVD copy. King of California on DVD. Charming little movie about not giving up on your dreams. There are Blu-ray versions of this, so I might go for an upgrade in the future.
Lasse Åbergs Sällskapsresor or Package Tours. A nice box with all the 5 movies inside. A slice of Swedish culture right here. I especially enjoy Den ofrivillige golfaren, where Stig-Helmer Olsson goes on an involuntary golf trip to Scotland. LA Story on Blu-ray. In my meaning, the best movie that the brilliant Steve Martin has starred in. A true love letter to Hollywood. A legend on Blu-ray, starring a young Tom Cruise. One, if not the purest fantasy tale to behold.
Life. Here on a fancy Steelbook Blu-ray. So are Steelbooks worth getting? Not if the price is any higher.
Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat on special edition DVD. Not the most common Alfred Hitchcock movie, and certainly worth a watch or two. The Lobster on DVD. When the urge for obscenity and perversion creeps up on you, this is the cure. Lost in La Mancha. For fans of Terry Gilliam, or insane movie shoots in general. A Mad Monkey. It's a bizarre film in which a perverted director, Jeff Goldblum, here on the cover, falls in love with a child actress. The movie was adapted from a novel. The Man Who Killed Don Quixote on Blu-ray. A long-awaited feature from the notoriously difficult director Terry Gilliam. Also see Lost in La Mancha for more meat on the bones.
So, was it worth the wait? Well, maybe. I think it would have been better if it was made earlier in Terry's.
Mary and Max on DVD. A grown-up, gloomy story of alienation and friendship outside the box. Done as a clay stop-motion animation. The Mask on Blu-ray. My only Icon Moments release. Don't care much for the design of the slipcase, but the movie is great.
Miracle on 34th Street. Hands down the best Christmas movie. It even beats the original from 1947. Christmas time a few years ago, I nearly lost my copy on a train. But miraculously, I got it back. Not for Christmas though.
Moustache, or The Mustache, is a French movie about a man who thinks he just shaved off his mustache. Others disagree though. Some even claim that there never was one in the first place. Afterwards, it all unwinds and derails. Mystery Train on DVD. An artsy film too hard for my brain to explain.
I don't feel that way when watching it though.
I guess it's an experience more than anything else. David Cronenberg's Naked Lunch on Blu-ray. 2 versions. The German art house and the Studio Canal Steelbook. I'll be switching out to the Steelbook, even though the cover of the German art house is rather cool. And the reason for that is the art house release only sports German subtitles. That won't do. It's a lot of fast-talking, mumbly dialogue in this film.
Numb on DVD. Cool movie about a hard-to-define mental illness. Whisper of the Heart on Blu-ray. Besides Miyazaki movies, this would be my favorite of Studio Ghibli's German Blu-ray release of On the Beach. Real cool post-apocalyptic movie that takes place on a submarine most of the time. If you're a fan of Haunting of Hill House, Ouija Origins of Evil, here on Blu-ray. Paris, Texas on Blu-ray. Supposedly Kurt Cobain's favorite movie, and one of mine as well. Phantasm, the complete collection Blu-ray from Arrow Video. 5 occult kick-ass movies. And a bunch of extras as well. Titan Asia Extremes Premonition on DVD. The Japanese original, philosophical and haunting.
A hidden pearl among J-horror.
Pulse or Cairo, an Arrow Video Blu-ray. My personal favorite among J-horrors. It dares to be artsy, mysterious, and also slow-paced. Planes, Trains and Automobiles on Blu-ray. Actually a Thanksgiving story, but I use it to get a Christmas feel. Might very well be the best buddy movie ever made. Remember on Blu-ray. Are you the same if you forgot who you were? A mission will dig deeper into that. The Right Stuff on Blu-ray or DVD? Why would you need to choose? Well, the DVD is 153 minutes and the Blu-ray 192. That's the only option on the Blu-ray. Myself, I rarely crave those extra 29 minutes of space phenomena and Texas barbecue feasts.
I guess I'm gonna need both.
Oh yes, there are 3 Ringo movies and you gotta have them all on Blu-ray. Worth noting, you're gonna need a surround system to catch what they're saying on the second film, because there's only 2 5.1 soundtracks to choose from. And none of them are reasonably dialogue mixed. Robert Langdon, free movie set on Blu-ray, because it takes up less space this way. Robert and Frank on Blu-ray. Ingenious little movie about needing to hold on to your not so good old habits. Rocketeer on DVD. I do wish this was the limited Steelbook Blu-ray.
Someday it might be.
Room 237. Conspiracies and facts are always fun when it comes to Stanley Kubrick. And in this case, The Shining. Rymdinvasion i Lappland or Terror in the Midnight Sun on DVD. A science fiction turkey from 1959. When shown on Swedish television, it did so on a channel for comedies. I don't think this one will stay in the collection forever. Scrooged on Blu-ray. If you get Bill Murray, then you'll find this a cool take on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Seconds. A Eureka Blu-ray release. The Monsters of Cinema series, number 122. Timeless despite its age. So thought-provoking and recognizable, even though it's a sci-fi.
Don't miss this one.
Shaun of the Dead. An import Blu-ray I picked up recently. The Scandinavian release has been out of print for a while, and that eludes me because it's such a big box office title.
It's a Rom-som cult.
Short Circuit 2 on DVD. I prefer this sequel because I believe they give Johnny number 5 more personality here. There's unfortunately no European release on this for Blu-ray. Shutter on DVD, the original, the Thai version. Very scary and truly disturbing. A hard one to find on an European Blu-ray release for sure. Singles on DVD. If you like me grew up in the 80s and 90s, these captured the Seattle scene of the 90s perfectly. Smala Sussi on DVD. A cool crime comedy in the likes of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
But this one is Swedish, of course.
Soliaris Blu-ray from Curzon Artificial Eye. My favorite of Tarkovsky's works.
And also I've got this DVD as a fun novelty item.
Somewhere in Time on Blu-ray. Beautiful story about falling in love with someone from the past. So much in love that you have to transport yourself there somehow. I also have the DVD because there's no subtitles on the Blu-ray.
What a pickle. What am I going to do here, guys?
Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker on Blu-ray. My only Criterion Collection movie to date. Found this movie to be needing the best visual representation.
I wouldn't exactly want to watch it if it wasn't a Supreme Edition.
Star Wars, the complete saga Blu-ray box. I will change out this chuddy box when George Lucas finally managed to swallow his pride and let Disney release the theatrical versions. The stuff on an Arrow Video Blu-ray. Hilarious B-movie. Are you sure about what's in the stuff you're eating? Could be monstrous consequences if not. Dario Argento's Suspiria, a cult film release. Susie. She begins her education on a colorful ballet school where mystical murders take place. Sunset Boulevard on Blu-ray. My favorite both American noir and Billy Wilder movie. The Swimmer on Blu-ray. Unexpectedly deep. An experimental 60s movie with a brilliant Burt Lancaster.
Taking Care of Business on DVD. Really amusing comedy about changing lives with someone. An old dear friend referenced this out of the blue a couple of years ago, and so I felt the urge to hunt it down for us to rewatch.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day Ultimate 3-disc edition DVD. I do have the Blu-ray for Terminator 2, but I believe there's a lot more extras on this one. Also, it's one of the first films I ever got.
Sentimental value.
Terminator Salvation Director's Cut Steelbook Blu-ray. If you ask me, this is the third Terminator movie. I mean, we didn't need to see a failed John Connor or a female Terminator. What we needed to see was more of the future war, like in this one.
And by the way, there are only 3 Terminator movies. Tic Tac on DVD. It has an inventive way of telling its story. Same timeline, but following different characters. It's been done before, but not in Swedish before. Tigerland on Blu-ray. A lesser-known Vietnam movie worth checking out. Timer on DVD. A brilliant sci-fi chick flick. The Towering Inferno on Blu-ray. The best disaster movie ever made. It's Steve McQueen and Paul Newman from 1974, adapted from a novel. Trancers on Blu-ray, a well-done sci-fi movie in line with Terminator and such. Transformers the movie on DVD. I intended for this one to be my first upgrade to 4K. I'm a huge Transformers fan, so this one is important. Trees Lounge on DVD. Steve Buscemi does a great role in this slice of life movie. As I was doing this collection video, I realized It's region 1 coded, so I will have to get a new one.
Trick or Treat, the quintessential Halloween movie, adapted from a comic book.
If people weren't demanding 30 to 40 bucks for this, I'd be sure to upgrade.
Troll Hunter on Blu-ray. Brilliant realism-thirsting fantasy about a group set out to document an odd hunter in Norway. They get a lot more than they bargained for on tape. Cool lenticular slipcover and a neat survival guide included.
Vanilla Sky on Blu-ray. What an intense and disturbing movie. The Spanish original is good as well. That one is called Open Your Eyes, The Warriors on DVD. This title is plagued with the awful director's cut version on almost every Blu-ray release. I'm patiently crossing my fingers. Whale Rider on DVD, a beautiful New Zealandian movie on faith and gender roles. What dreams may come. A tragically beautiful story about love, loss, despair and so on. Stunning visuals, like a world made out of oil paints. There's also a haunting portrayal of hell in there. Zathura on the Blu-ray. A cool sequel to Jumanji, quite unlike the first one in atmosphere. The Collected Works of Hayao Miyazaki Blu-ray box. Probably my most advanced box set, with all its movies, extras, and even some short films. Let us have a little peek inside. All the movies, the shorts, and we have some reading. And some artworks as well. Macken, Royce Rogers Bilservice. An amusing series about two simple-minded brothers running a car service and having to deal with a bunch of difficult customers.
Millennium, the series on DVD. If you're a fan of X-Files and films like Seven, you're gonna dig this. A spin-off to X-Files that follows Frank Black and the Millennium Group in their pursuit of things concerning the impending Judgment Day. Lars von Trier's Riget, the series, takes you on a weird and somewhat spooky trip in a rundown haunted hospital.
There's also an American remake of this, but I failed to see the point why. Dansk jävlar! From the Earth to the Moon, boxed mini-series on DVD. If you're fascinated by space endeavors, this series goes extensively into NASA's missions into space and the Moon. Be sure to watch Apollo 13 in conjunction to this one as well.
And finally, the X-Files complete series on Blu-ray, the crown jewel. It's my all-time favorite series in a spectacular large box. The first seasons was originally in 4:3 format, but now it has been optimized to widescreen. Let's have a look. There you go. All the series and the event series as well. This one isn't included in this box, but they still made a place for it. That's kind of that's good thinking of them.
In one instance you can see the film crew taking a coffee break in the edge of the corner. I find that hilarious.
Thank you for tuning in.